Hi, today we're going to talk about parts of an equation. And you might not really know what an equation is. You might have heard of people talking about solving equations or, variables and all that kind of stuff. But today we're just going to look at parts of an equation, okay? So that when we get to solving equations, we can really know what we're talking about. If I want you to look at a specific part of an equation, I want you to know what part I'm talking about. And that's what we're really going to focus on today. So we are kind of slowly building tiny step by tiny step to get to actually solving equations. But we can't just jump into solving equations. We need to jump in by understanding the pieces of it, understand how they work, understand what the different parts are called so that we can feel more comfortable when we actually do go to solve these equations. So let's first talk about what is an equation. So an equation is a math sentence where you're saying something equals something. So what you could do is you could say 3 equals 3. And it's true, 3 does equal 3. That is an equation. Another thing that you could do is you could say x equals 3. That's kind of using one of our algebra terms, a variable. That's using a letter, but that is still an equation. What we're going to start to do is we are going to start to look at equations that are a little bit more complicated than that. We're going to look at equations that might look like this. X plus 2 equals 3. Now, you might be able to figure out what has to go for x in order to make that true. You might be able to figure that out in your head. If so, that's awesome. But as these get more complicated, we have to understand the process to solve them. And what solving an equation means is getting this x and knowing what that x equals. Okay, so that is what solving an equation means. We want to know what x equals. So we've already practiced getting x alone. Solving an equation means getting x alone, so we know what it equals. Okay, that's an equation. That's kind of what we're going into. We're not solving today. We're just going to talk about the parts of an equation. There is one part that is really, really, really important in equations: the variable. So I want you to start practicing knowing really quickly what the variable in an equation is. So when you're thinking variable, remember that variable is always going to be the letter. The variable is always going to be the letter. So you are trying to find the letter. So I'm looking, I see 8x. Oh, there's the variable. It says 8x equals 24. So the variable is the letter x. So to answer this, the variable in this problem is x. Okay? That's the first step to being able to solve an equation, is to be able to tell me or tell yourself or know in your brain what the variable is. So take a look at this. What is the variable in here? Think to yourself, what is the variable? Look for the letter. Where is that letter? So I'm looking, I see a 3, I see an equal sign, I see a P, I see a minus and a 7. The one that's the letter is P. So the variable in this equation is P. That's the variable. Remember, variable means letter. It is P in this equation. Again, what is the variable? I want your eyes to pick up the variable really fast. What's the variable in this equation? See how fast you can decide what the variable is. Remember, again, you are looking for the letter. Know right away what you're looking for. You're looking for the letter. And if you said to yourself that the variable in this equation is n, you are absolutely correct. That is the only letter in this equation. So the variable in this one is n. Okay. So once we know what the variable is, we have to understand what the different parts of the equation are. Now, I like to literally imagine an equation like this. I like to, before we even talk about this question, I like to imagine an equation as being split in two pieces. So this equation is split in two pieces on one side of the equal sign and the other side of the equal sign. I literally imagine that in my head. One side of the equal sign and then the other side. And I even think of it like a fence. I might say, what's on the left side of the fence or the right side of the fence? That fence I'm talking about is the line that divides the two sides, or the line that separates the two sides. It's the equal sign. The equal sign breaks it into two parts. So this question says, what is on the left side of the equal sign? Remember that left is that way. So what is on the left side of the equal sign here is this whole chunk. That's on the left side of the equation. So if I was going to answer this, I would say that what is on the left side of this equation is n plus 5. So I might ask you sometimes in class, what's on the left side of the equation? And you would answer for this one, n plus 5. The whole thing, n plus 5. Okay. Now, what about the right side of the equation? This is the same equation. Let's draw that same line again. What is on the right side of the equation? Well, remember, right goes that direction. So I'm thinking, okay, what's on the right side of this equation? If this was a fence, if the equal sign made a fence right through that equation, what would be on the right side of it? It would be that 18. So what is on the right side of this equation is 18. Okay, so now we know how to tell the different sides of an equation apart. Now we have another really important question, and I want you to listen to this carefully. What is on the same side? What is on the same side of the equal sign as the variable in this equation? So I'm going to split my equation in two parts again, and I'm looking for what's on the same side as the variable. I'm looking for the same side as the variable. So this is the side with the variable right here. This is the side with the variable because it has n. Now I want to see what's on the same side with the variable. So if the variable is n, I want to see what's right next to n. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what is right next to n? What is on the same side with n? So I'm looking, okay, I see that it says plus 5. So what is on the same side as the variable is plus 5. So your answer for this would be plus 5 is on the same side as the variable. And you have to know how to do this because we're going to have to start calculating things. And I don't want you to start doing random things with random numbers. I want you to know exactly what you're looking at. I want you to be able to tell me what is on the same side of the equal sign as the variable. And in this case, it is plus 5. And make sure you include that operation. Don't just say 5. All right, how about here? It says, again, what is on the same side of the equal sign as the variable in this equation? So again, we're just looking. We're going, okay, where is the variable? If I split this in two, I'm going to split it in two. Okay, so now I'm asking myself, I see the variable. The variable is x. I want to know what math is on the same side of the equal sign. And I notice that it is minus 5. So the answer to this question, what is on the same side of the equal sign as the variable? The variable is x. Minus 5 is on the same side as x. All right. Last one like this. What is on the same side of the equal sign as the variable in this equation? So we're doing that again. Another way to think about this is asking yourself, what's happening to the variable? So what's happening to the variable here? Well, let's split it. So I see that my variable here is y. I want to know what's happening to y. Well, it's being multiplied by 6. When things are smushed together like that, it's the same thing as saying 6 times y, or also you can say 6 times y. Those are the same thing. So what's happening to y? what's on the same side of the equal sign as the variable, as y, is times 6. So this is really being multiplied. The variable is being multiplied by times 6, or you could write it as times 6. Okay, so the variable is not by itself. It's being multiplied by 6. Okay, so you guys are going to have an assignment where you have to actually answer these on a Google form. I want you to take your time. I want you to get used to finding the variable and then seeing whatever's happening to it, whatever's on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, and it is important to be able to look and see what is on the left of the equal sign, what's on the right of the equal sign, where's the variable. Those are all questions that if we can answer those, that we can really, really be strong going into being able to solve these equations. All right. So as always, let me know if you have any questions. Email me if you need to. And good luck on your assignment. Obviously, come back to this video if it can help you answer those questions. See you next time.